like to call to order the June 21st, 2022 Board of Education regular meeting at 7 p.m. Sarah, good evening to you. Can I have a roll call?
Mr. Bird.
Here.
Mrs. Deck. Mrs. Lala. Here. Mr. Lozano. Mr. Monson.
Here.
Mr. Plaza.
Here.
Mr. Tribuzio.
Here.
All right, thank you. Quorum is in the seven. I just want to make mention that Board Member Mazzano and Board Member Deck had both reached out to me for personal reasons. They cannot make tonight. So I was aware of their absence. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Maria, you want to read the mission statement?
The mission of Orange School District 80 is inspiring educational excellence and encouraging learning.
Thank you. Celebration of Success Time.
I'll just like to say something, and I don't know if it was last meeting or if we have, but the daddy-daughter dance, I don't know if we covered that, was at the last meeting? We did. Was that here?
Say it again, it's okay.
Oh, this is a great event. I'm glad that, we're doing stuff like that. And whoever put it together, PTA and everyone who was involved, thank you. Sorry. It's all a blur.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I was just gonna I could have mentioned in like B&G part, but I was just gonna say Building and Grounds met a couple times in the last 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and there's a lot of good things going on. Aside from starting some of the projects that we had long been planning, like the asbestos removal of pipe joints. One of the more exciting things is the media center being transformed. The Child's Library being transformed into a media center, which is already going on, and there's a lot going on during the summer, both schools, and it's just exciting to hear.
We also just want to take a moment to congratulate the retirees from Norwood School District 80 for this school year. That was Eileen Hogan from Lee and
Mary Mawson and Jim Brewster from Giles.
we wish them the best in their future endeavors.
Mr. Dorr would like to say that the Special Education Department finished the year strong and the students made expected gains towards their individualized goals. So we're excited about that. And then also at Giles, we just would like to celebrate the class of 2022. Graduation went off very well. It was a great evening for everyone, so congratulations to the class of 2022.
Thank you, guys. Anyone else? So I'll take a minute. Bob, I want to commend you on the graduation and the process that night. I know you put a lot of work into it. I know a lot of months of planning and effort go into that, and it was great. I had told you that night that the kids were so well behaved, everything was in order, things were where it needed to be. So thank you for putting that together. And anybody else that helped with that I'm not aware of your level of involvement, thank you too. But I know Bob quarterbacked that, and that was really great.
Thank you. I just hoping for the FAA thing, but that didn't work out.
Well, we broke the ice with that, so maybe next year. Yeah. Also, Sean, like you said, I wasn't able to attend the luncheon for the retirees. Mr. Gruska, Mrs. Mawston, and Mrs. Hoban. I just want to take a minute to say I was working that day, otherwise I would have been here. I would have said it to them in person, but congratulations on the retirement. Much earned, much deserved. And thank you for your service. And if you watch this film at some point, the board thanks you and we congratulate you and best of luck on all your next chapters in your lives. Anyone else? All right. I'll ask the board to consider the approval of the agenda as presented or potentially modified. Any discussion from the board? So now I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda as it's presented.
I'll motion.
Sorry.
Renzo Frank. Sarah, roll call, please.
Mr. Bird.
Yes.
Mr. Tribuzio.
Yes.
Mrs. Lala.
Yes.
Mr. Monson.
Yes.
Mr. Plaza.
Yes. Okay, motion carries. I'd like to recognize the visitors tonight? Dr. Craig Schumann, thank you for being here. We'll talk later, but thanks for being here. Correspondence, no correspondence to report. Public participation?
Nope.
Okay. FOIA. The district received one FOIA request since the last meeting, and I'll read it as per usual. Request was made by Ms. Yelkin, dated May the 20th of this year, requesting any and all purchasing records from January 1st, 2015 to today. The specific information requested from your record-keeping system is 1. Purchase order number. If purchase orders are not used, a comparable substitute is accepted. Example, invoice, encumbrance, or check number. Number 2, purchase date. Number 3, line item details. Detailed description of the purchase. Number 4, line item quantity. Number 5, line item price. 6, line vendor ID number, name, address, contact person, and their email address. As always, it will be on the website for public to see in full transparency. Presentation, no presentation this month. Moving on to administrative reports. Interim superintendent report, Mr. Grimm.
Nothing that I want to cover throughout the meeting.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. Guzik.
Thank you. I just have a couple of things to report on today. The first thing is summer school and our ESY program. We have over 160 students signed up for summer school this year. It's been going very well. It's nice and warm outside for the kids to play, or they come here in the gym, but the program's been doing great so far. As you recall, this is a $80 for District 80, and if students attend 80% of the time, then we do give back the money at the end of the 15 days, and we are funding that through ESSER funds. Really excited about that. Along that same line, the Norwood Park Township has sponsored a summer program also. This program is the last 2 weeks of July. Currently, right now, we have about 80 students from NSD80 that have signed up to attend. This program is in cooperation with Penoyer and with Union Ridge. And we're excited to be able to offer this opportunity for our students as well. This program is $100 with $75 subsidized by Norwood Park Township per student. So it's a cost of $25 per family. And as stated, there are 80 students currently signed up for it, which we're excited about. Next month in our discussion item, I am going to go into detail about our threat assessment team that has been meeting. So our threat assessment team is made up of our administrative staff, along with the social worker, psychologist, the member from the Norwich Police Department, a member from the Norwich Fire Department, and this team is putting together and reviewing our crisis plan, and specifically going over all of our protocols, and looking for areas that we may be vulnerable for any kind of student threat or an outside threat to our buildings. So we are in process of working on that right now, and I'll have a report for you next month, which we will then look for an approval on in August. This is a quite long process. We're speaking with many people and really taking hard looks around our buildings. Have had many conversations with our buildings and grounds as well on where our vulnerable areas are and how we can improve our security inside and any kind of student needs at the same time. So we're happy about our meeting on that. And that is my report.
Quick question. So the summer school with Norwood Park Township, if a student is a D80 student but not in Norwood Park Township, it's just $100, or they're?
Correct,
Okay.
it is $100.
Okay.
Norwood Park, so if someone lives in Leiden, then they would be responsible for the whole amount.
Okay. But they can still sign up?
Yes.
Okay.
Michelle, on your threat assessment team, how often do you meet? How many times have you met?
So we've had our second meeting that we just had last week. We've assigned some work to members of the team, and we're getting back together next Monday.
So maybe if you're open to it, I'd like you to consider maybe somebody from the Howard Heights Police Department.
Absolutely.
Because, some Howard Heights residents are in the district.
Absolutely.
And also, there's some personnel there that has some knowledge that they could probably bring some really good things to the table.
Who do you suggest I contact?
You can contact one of the commanders.
Okay.
And then
And
I
do you
can,
know them
I
both
can give them a
well?
little, yeah, I can give them a little heads up that you're gonna be reaching out to them.
Okay.
And they probably have just the person for you, so.
Perfect.
Very
Thank you for
valuable.
that suggestion.
Yeah, no problem. Anyone else? All right. Mr. Dorr is not here. Does anybody have a little something in his place?
Mr. Dorwood just would like to thank the Board of Education and the administration and the staff for his support here over the past 2 years. It was a highlight of his career. He was very honored to be the Director of Special Education here, and he's doing everything he can in his time to support the next Director of Special Education. And that concludes his report.
Thanks. Principal report. Mr. Biecki, Dr. Ravioli.
So at Giles, June 1st, we held our fun day. That was sponsored by PTA. It was a great day for our 5th through 7th grade students. The graduation went very well, as we talked about in the beginning at Ridgewood High School. June 6th, we held our spring data day. This will allow us to start the school year off right away with our student interventions. So a lot of data was analyzed, discussed, and being put into work so that we start the year off very well. We also on June 6th, we had our PBIS Grade Wars celebration. It was a 2-hour assembly in the afternoon. It was fun by all the grades. 7th grade and won with 18 points. It was very close. 6th grade had 17 points and 5th grade had 16 points. So very close by all the grades. They did enjoy a lot of great feedback we heard from the students. On June 7th, we released the end of the year progress reports to all of our families. That was released by email to them. So if any parent did not receive their end of the year progress report, feel free to contact myself at Giles or Dr. Ramiola at Lee School. As you heard from Ms. Guzik, summer school has started and everything is going very well. Christine and I are very busy creating next year's student schedule, which will be released in mid-August to the families. And the student supplies have also been released. That is on the District 80 website. For Giles, all you have to do is go under Giles School and you'll see the supply list for next school year. And that concludes my report.
All right, so I'm going to skip over a couple of the items I have on my report because it'll just echo Mr. Biecki here, but we also had a spring data day. Just to echo some of the information about the progress report, supply list. We'll also plan to email those supply lists out in July as well. Classroom placements, we plan to make those available mid-August, and those will be viewed on PowerSchool by logging into the PowerSchool portal. And then just want to recap some of the events that we had to end the school year. We had our field day on May 31st. That was a great event. It was, I think, the perfect day because we had some cloud coverage. It was really exciting and a lot of positive feedback on having a smaller number of students out at one time, because every grade level had an hour, which allowed them to go through the obstacle courses and whatnot multiple times, as opposed to having a long line to wait for. We also had our preschool celebration, which was a little bit more of a relaxed, a little bit less of a formal event. Students were able to come and play for a little bit. Parents got to mingle and hear some songs. Students got little certificates, so it was really a nice event. That was put on by our preschool team. June 3rd, we had our kindergarten celebration, where students were able to sing some songs, walk across the stage, and get their certificate of completion for kindergarten. And we received a lot of positive feedback on that event. We did have 2 kindergarten celebrations as opposed to having one larger event, and I think that worked out pretty well because we had a pretty good crowd for both of those. And also, we have had a few preliminary meetings with our partners on the Community Partnership Grant. That's Midwest PBIS, NAMI, Eisenhower Library, and West 40. We're planning to come together on July 8th as a district community leadership team to discuss and plan the next steps through this grant. And we are really excited about that partnership. So that concludes my report for this month.
Okay, thanks, Sean. Building discipline reports, Ms. Aaron's.
We have 3 suspensions to report, 1 violation of board policy 7:199 and 12, 2 in violation of board policy 7:197, 9, and 21. And excuse me, the previous one was 9 and 12.
Anything from Mrs. Mizell?
Nothing to report from me.
Okay, thank all of you. Monthly staffing report, Mrs. Guzzi.
Yes, we continue to move forward on staffing the buildings for next year. We're very pleased with the progress that we've made and the candidates that we have found. We do still have a few openings, and we continue to interview for them. Hopefully, we will bring you our final staffing in July. We have some people today as well.
And we can find those openings on the website?
Correct.
Okay.
Would you like me to review which ones we still have?
Sure, if you don't mind.
Sure. We have social work. We have a .4 speech and language pathologist. We have an assistant principal after tonight when you approve Mrs. Mizell's resignation. And we have a 5th grade math position at Giles. We have posted a PBIS coordinator position, which goes along with the grant, which is grant funded. That's an anticipated position. And I think that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Moving on to board committees, nothing to report from board policy and development, building and grounds.
Not really anything I haven't already said or that will not already be presented in 16A. Summer projects.
Okay.
Can I back up just a minute? So I just, to back up into board policy, just to let you know that press has put out packet 109. It's a little bit thinner than the last one, but there's some pretty significant policies in there. Michelle will have for you an initial report on those. But some of those things that we've been talking about, you're going to have to make some decisions on in terms of what we're going to offer in terms of national sex ed standards and some of those other higher visibility items. So when that packet comes out to you, please take a look at it, because there's some pretty significant decisions that you're going to have to make going forward.
When can the board expect that to be made its way to us, the packet?
Yeah, we can certainly get it out to the board.
Yeah,
I
okay.
just received it.
All right. Thank you, Rob. Frank, you good on building and grounds?
Yeah.
Okay. Communications, finance.
We had a meeting on July 15th with Ms. Guzik, Mr. Schoen. Our annual budget is 11 to 12 million, so we spent about $1 million a month. We currently have 2.7 million working cash. The state requirement is 25% to be in this fund. District 80 enacted a policy 33% to be in the fund to ensure we have monies to cover in the event of an emergency, to ensure we do not run into another deficit spending issue. Although we are currently over 40%, we may even get at 45% by the end of calendar year 2022, with no revenue expected between July and December. We are still on the financial track for all planned buildings and ground projects to be covered by ESSER 2 funds. We've done a very good job with estimates versus actuals with all the grants, matching gifts, and rebates, so we do not expect any hiccups at the moment. We confirmed we have $359,000 refund from the refinancing of the previous bond, and we'll be requesting to transfer that to the site and construction fund. And lastly, we'll be scheduling the next finance meeting to discuss budget for next year. and have Dr. Schilling to present to the board at the next August meeting.
Okay, any questions from the board? Great, thank you. Negotiations. We're in a contract year. Negotiations have been ongoing since our last board meeting, which was dated May the 17th. We had negotiation meetings on the 18th of May and also the 6th of June. We're currently still in discussions with BEAT. That's all I have to report on that. Education, parent-teacher advisory, behavioral intervention as needed. We haven't needed them. It was met to my knowledge, so thus nothing to report. Norwich Park District.
The only thing we have to report is that we have some dates on, that we're confirming to meet with Norwich Park to get a recap of the after-school programs. Kind of see what worked, what didn't, and start preparing for next year. I will send some questions over to you or some information that I would like prior to the meeting.
Okay,
I'll get that to you as soon as possible, so you have some time to gather that. But besides that, I'll hopefully have more to report next month after we meet.
Questions from the board? Okay, so thank you. Moving on to consent agenda. Ask the board to consider the approval of the consent agenda. Any discussion? Okay, I'll ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Frank, Chris, roll call please, sir.
Mr. Tribuzio?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lala? Mr. Plaza?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Motion carries. Action items. I ask the board to consider the approval of the 2021 through 2022 audit. Discussion. I'll ask for the motion to approve the 2021 through 2022 audit.
Motion.
I'll second.
Frank Renzo. Roll call, sir.
Mr. Tribuzio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Plaza?
Yes.
Mrs. Lala?
Yes.
Motion carries. Ask the board to consider the approval of the click renewal. Discussion. I ask for a motion to approve the click renewal.
Second.
Chris, Maria. Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lala?
Yes.
Mr. Tribuzio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Plaza?
Yes. Motion carries. Ask the board to consider the approval of self-renewal. Discussion. I'll ask for a motion to approve self-renewal.
Motion.
Second.
Chris, Maria, roll call.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lala?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Plaza?
Yes.
Mr. Tribuzio?
Yes.
Carries. Consider the approval of the payment to citywide building maintenance. Discussion. Ask for approval to approve, ask for a motion to approve the payment to citywide building maintenance.
Second.
Maria, seconded by Chris, roll call.
Mrs. Lala?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Plaza?
Yes.
Mr. Tribuzio?
Yes.
Yes.
Carries. Consider the approval of the strategic plan. Discussion. I'll ask for a motion to approve the strategic plan.
Motion.
Second.
Frank, Chris, roll call.
Mr. Tribuzio?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mrs. Lala? Mr. Plaza?
Yes. Carries. Moving on to our discussion items, I'll turn over to Mrs. Guzik.
I'm actually going to turn this over to Mary Teller, who is going to speak with us about our summer projects.
Summer projects coming up is asbestos removal. It's going to start when school ends here at Lee. It'll go through the month of July, about a week and a half to 2 weeks at each school, and should be finished up by the end of July. Our big project for the year is the media center at Giles. We're going to update lights, ceiling tiles, flooring, carpet, walls. We're going to have new furniture there. That's pretty exciting. We're going to try to modernize it the way we did the steam labs. Another thing going on at Giles is the assistant principal's office is going to be expanded a little bit. before it was kind of like a walkthrough, not really an office, so we're gonna move the wall out about 3 feet. Also do some new lighting in there. As we go room to room, we're trying to update lighting. It's cost effective, it saves energy, so if we're in there doing work, we might as well update the lighting. There will be a new desk for Giles' office. There'll be some tile repair, and that's probably about it for Giles. Over at Lee, we started to remove the ceiling out of the lunchroom to kind of open it up. It's kind of like a dungeon down there. I'm sure everyone's been down there. We're planning on painting the ceiling, also updating the lighting, make it brighter, more lighting down there. As we go through things too, we find electrical violations, long Greenfield BX, open boxes, and we're updating and correcting those problems as we go along. One other thing here at Lee is the walkthrough or frosted glass wall by the principal's office. We'd like to close that up and just metal stud and drywall, paint that. It would be the most cost-effective way to go instead of installing the glass like we did up here in front. We talked about getting with NSF and working out some egress gating for both schools to help with security and also being able to exit the building and grounds in case of emergency. And we're going to go around also and make a list of any type of doors that are also in need of repair. We know they get beat up during the year with the kids running through them and being propped and salt and everything else. So we want to make sure everything's secure around the buildings. There's even been talk about getting a proposal for fobbing the doors at Giles, which I think is important so that people can exit and re-enter the building without having to prop doors open. So that would be something that we discuss in the future. I cover everything, Frank? You go on for anything else?
Yep, based on that last pretty comprehensive meeting, that's a good core of what has been talked about.
A lot of movement this summer.
Good to hear. Thanks, Derek.
Okay, I'll move on to 16B. In April, I came to the board and asked for an early release on Wednesdays for the 22-23 school year. As I outlined then and I'll outline again today, the reason for this is time for the administrators to work with the teachers to improve instruction. There would be several things that would happen during that time. Grade level meetings with the principal involved and agendas, an opportunity for district committees to meet, and an opportunity for professional development for the teachers. I am asking for 40 minutes early release at each of the schools on Wednesdays. We know we'll be able to gauge if this is successful by looking at our student academic growth. As you recall, the school improvement plans are very large and meaty, and we do want to give the principals time to work with the staff to be able to achieve our goals. We also want to be looking at, we'll also be looking at student behavior incidences as we work with our staff on de-escalation skills and just how to work with kids. It's been a struggle this year, and it's not just here in District 80. It's been difficult everywhere with students as they're coming back to school full time and just learning how to be in school. So we'll be able to have opportunities to meet for training. We're looking at our growth towards our strategic plan in those 4 areas that we identified today, and looking at committees to grow. You'll be receiving a monthly report of the activities, a trimester report of data from what we're working on, and then a yearly report of the goal progress. Do you have any questions on the early release? The next, I believe it's the next agenda item, we will
So-
talk about the times
so-
of the day.
What are you,
I'm asking for
what
40
are you
minutes.
asking the board to, I mean, this is a discussion tonight, you're gonna come back next month and ask them to approve that recommendation?
Approve the 40-minute early release.
Once a week.
Correct, every Wednesday.
And just to verify the time, would be the school ending time on a Wednesday?
Sure, if you're comfortable, we can go on to 16C.
Okay.
Because 16C, in our board book, if you may have to squint down at the bottom there and make it a little bit larger, depending on what your computer looks like, but we do have the ending times of the day that we're proposing down there. So we're proposing that Lee start school at 8:10 every day and get out at 3:05, which you may recognize is not a change from this school year. If you recall, the feedback that we received from parents were a couple of things. They wanted Giles to get out of school later than Lee because they felt that their older student can safely wait for a parent to get there if a parent is coming to pick up a child from Lee and from Giles. So we're proposing then that Giles would start at 8:20, which is 10 minutes after Lee, and Giles would get out at 3:15. Currently, Giles was this past year 8 o'clock and getting out at 2:55. So it goes a little bit later in the morning, but then also goes a little bit later. Same amount of time of the day. We haven't cut anything from the daily schedule. And then on the early release days, and I could go through all the preschool and half-day kindergarten times too, they're on there. But on the early release days, then Giles' hours would be 8:20 and they would get out at 2:35, which is 45 minutes earlier. And then Lee would start at 8:10 and then get out at 2:25, which is 45 minutes earlier. So 2:25, 2:35 on the early release Wednesday.
Has District 80 ever, yeah, they have, right?
Yes, we did pre-COVID. We had early release Wednesdays, which lined up with Ridgewood. And then the year right before COVID, we had a late start on Monday mornings. During COVID, that was not either. You know, we're on the A and the B days, mornings and then afternoons.
But just thought of something with this talk of early release Wednesday and now hearing the times and what you had mentioned with the meeting with the Park District and after school programs. I will ask on behalf of myself and plenty of families that I know that we could do anything we can to have a Wednesday program right after early release. Because a lot of parents, they can't pick and choose every day to get out of work. So having after school programs in general is great. Having it especially on a Wednesday will be really nice.
I have been in communication with Anne Marie and Evan Clayton already about that. That just as a possibility, could they double up, triple up on their opportunities on Wednesdays? They're very excited about that opportunity. Programs that were very successful this year. After we meet in July, which I think is the 14th, we can have a report on how many students attended and how successful it was. As you recall, we are funding that through ESSER dollars. Very interested in looking at other partnerships that we can create so that when the ESSER dollars are finished, that we can still offer the program to our families at a small cost, if not no cost at all. We're looking for other partnerships. But yes, we'll definitely talk about that on the 14th.
Good point, Frank.
And I do, on 19B, after closed session, we do have an action item actually of approving this district calendar that we're speaking of today. Reason is we need to get these funds out to our families. I will move on then to 16D. We have a memo from Derek and Pat Rossi They are asking the board to allow them to hire 2 or 3 summer workers, high school workers. This again would be taking care of the lawn maintenance. And also we are looking at some painting projects at Giles. This would be the hallways at Giles. So they are asking you to allow them to start searching for some people at the $15 minimum wage. And then next month we would bring you some candidates for your approval. 16E, just wanted to make you aware that this year, as you know, we rented a bus and hired a bus driver. We rented a bus from Leiden Township in order to transport our teams to their after-school activities. Really excited this year. We actually have 2 companies that we are working with right now for the best price to transport our after-school activities next year. So next month I will bring you a contract for our after-school activities. So glad that the busing business is getting back up and running. It was a tough year this year. As you recall, we went kind of down to the wire on very happy that Leiden supported us and helped us with our after-school activities this past year, because we could not have gotten the students there. And next, I just wanted to give you an update on residency investigations. So as you know, I've been communicating with Chief Goss regarding hiring a member of the Norwich Police Department for conducting investigations for residency or for an intergovernmental agreement. However, at this time, Chief Goss does not have the staff capacity, nor is there an individual who has stepped forward to take on this role. So I have been communicating with 3 different companies. American Heritage is someone that we've worked with in the past. National Investigations is a company that is used by another district here close by, and so is Spartan. So I have scheduled meetings with the 3 of these companies and are speaking with them about their routine on how they check on residency, their costs, because as you know, a little cost on checking residency will go a long way for us. So I think this is something I will have for you in July. And I think that is my last item of discussion.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Board comments. Any comments in any way from the board? Closed session. I'd ask the board to consider a motion to adjourn the closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, collective bargaining matters, and to review closed session minutes. Any discussion? I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, collective bargaining matters, and to review closed session minutes. Chris? Maria? Sarah, roll call, please.
Mr. Massey?
Yes.
Mrs. Blattle? Yes. Mr. Palazzo?
Yes.
Mr. Trevizio?
Yes.
Mr. Burr?
Yes.
Okay, that carries. Right now, we'll note the time at 7:37. Let's try to be in closed session in tighter territory. I would say 7:50. Sounds right? Okay, all right. So we're back in open session at 10:32 p.m. Moving on to our action items. I'd ask the board to consider the approval for the final 2021 through 2022 district calendar. Discussion. Okay, I need a motion to approve the final 2021-2022 district calendar.
Motion.
Frank, Maria, roll call.
Mr. Trevizio?
Yes.
Mrs. Blattle? Yes. Mr. Palazzo?
Yes.
Mr. Burr?
Yes.
Mr. Massey?
Carries. I'd ask the board to consider the approval of the 2022-2023 district calendar.
A motion.
Wait, discussion. Then I'll ask for approval I need a motion to approve the 2022-2023 district calendar. Renzo, followed by
Motion.
Frank. Roll call, sir.
Mr.
Clarification
Burr?
before, I'm sorry. So this includes the 40-minute early release
Correct.
on Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays.
Okay, I just want to make sure that,
And the new start times.
and the start
That
times.
is correct.
And you will put all that information out
Blast it out.
very, very soon. I just wanted that for our friends who are watching tonight.
Yep.
Thank
So,
you.
you're welcome. Thanks for adding that. The motion was made, Sarah, by Renzo, seconded by Frank.
Mr. Berard.
Yes.
Mr. Tribuzio.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Plaza.
Yes.
Mrs. Lala. Yes.
Carries. Consider the approval of the building and grounds summer projects. Discussion. I'll ask for a motion to approve the building and grounds summer projects.
Second.
Maria, seconded by Frank. Roll call.
Mrs. Lala. Yes. Mr. Tribuzio.
Yes.
Mr. Berard.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Plaza.
Yes. Carried. Personnel action items. I'd ask the board to consider the approval of the appointment of Patrick Rossi, Building and Grounds Consultant for the 2022 through 2023 school year. Discussion. I'll ask for a motion to approve the employment of Patrick Rossi, Building and Grounds Consultant for the 2022 through 2023 school year.
Okay.
Frank, Maria, roll call.
Mr. Tribuzio.
Yes.
Mrs. Lala. Yes. Mr. Plaza.
Yes.
Mr. Berard.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Carries. Consider the approval of the employment of Mike Lewandowski, Building and Grounds, for the 2022 through 2023 school year. Discussion. I'll ask for a motion to approve the employment of Mike Lewandowski, Building and Grounds, for the 2022 through 2023 school year.
Motion.
Frank, Maria, roll call.
Mr. Tribuzio.
Yes.
Mrs. Lala. Yes. Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Berard.
Yes.
Mr. Plaza.
Yes. Carries. I'd ask the board to consider the employment of Karen Maloney, physical therapy at the school for the 2022 through 2023 school year. Discussion. I'll ask for a motion to approve the employment of Karen Maloney, physical therapy at the school for the 2022 through 23 school year.
Second.
Maria, Frank, roll call.
Mrs. Lala. Mr. Tribuzio.
Yes.
Mr. Plaza.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Berard.
Yes.
Carries. Consider the approval of the employment of Peter Masters, Director of Special Education. Discussion. I'll ask for a motion to approve the employment of Peter Masters, Director of Special Education.
Motion.
Chris, Maria, roll call.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Lala. Mr. Tribuzio.
Yes.
Mr. Plaza.
Yes.
Mr. Berard.
Yes.
Carries. I ask the board to consider the approval of Michelle Music for fiscal year 22 in interim superintendent and district superintendent for 2022 through 2025. Any discussion? I'll ask for a motion to approve Michelle Music as fiscal year 22 interim superintendent and district superintendent for 2022 through 2025.
Second.
Maria, Frank, roll call.
Mrs. Lala. Yes. Mr. Tribuzio.
Yes.
Mr. Plaza.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Berard.
Yes.
Carries. Michelle,
Congratulations.
yes, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
What a feeling that's got to be being in the district your whole career. And we are extremely happy for you and excited and wish you nothing but the best.
Put your keys in.
Okay? So,
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be moving to this position. It's definitely been a dream of mine since I've been in the district since 1994, and I can assure you I'm very dedicated to it and will always do my best. So thank you very much for your support.
you're very welcome and we
Appreciate it.
congratulate you again.
Thank you.
And we're entrusting you to lead us where we got to go and take us where we can be, okay?
Will
So
do.
happy for you, happy for you.
Thank you.
You are in very good hands.
Yes, we know.
Thank you.
Okay, consider the approval of employment of Todd Brower, 6th grade ELA teacher at Giles School, Wing 1, Step 8, for the 22-23 school year. Any discussion on Mr. Brower? I need a motion to approve the employment of Todd Brower, 6th grade ELA teacher at Giles School, Wing 1, Step 8, 22 through 23 school year.
No motion.
Renzo, Maria, roll call.
Mr. Berard.
Yes.
Mrs. Lala. Yes. Mr. Tribuzio.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Plaza.
Yes. Carries. Pronunciation on his last name, Michelle?
Magyar.
Magyar. Consider the approval of the employment of Carrie Magyar, District Special Ed Paraprofessional for the 22-23 school year. Any discussion? Motion to approve, I need a motion to approve the employment of Carrie Magyar, District Special Ed Paraprofessional for the 22-23 school year.
Second?
Okay. Maria, seconded by Renzo. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Long? Yes. Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Palazzo?
Yes.
Mr. Trabuzio?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Carries. Consider the acceptance of the letter of resignation from David Dorr, Director of Special Education. Discussion. I'll ask for a motion to accept the letter of resignation from David Dorr, Director of Special Education.
Motion.
Chris, Maria, roll call.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Long? Yes. Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Palazzo?
Yes.
Mr. Trabuzio?
Yes.
Carries. I'd ask the board to consider the acceptance of the letter of resignation from Cassette Divinier, Special Ed Paraprofessional here at the school. Discussion. I'll ask for a motion to accept the letter of resignation from Cassette Divinier, Special Ed Paraprofessional here at Lee.
Motion.
Maria, seconded by Chris. Roll call, Sarah.
Mrs. Long? Yes. Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Trabuzio?
Yes.
Mr. Palazzo?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Carries. Consider the acceptance of the letter of resignation from Nicholas Barkan, social worker here at Lee School.
A motion.
Discussion.
Oh, sorry.
I'm asking you to consider it.
Okay.
Now I'll ask for a motion to accept the letter of resignation from Nicholas Barkan, social worker here at Lee School. Renzo, seconded by
Second.
Chris. Sarah, roll call.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Trabuzio?
Yes.
Mr. Palazzo?
Yes.
Mrs. Long? Yes.
Carries. Consider the acceptance of the letter of resignation from Sarah Mizell, assistant principal at Lee School. Discussion. I'll ask for a motion to accept the letter of resignation from Sarah Mizell, assistant principal at Lee School.
Second.
Maria, Chris, roll call.
Mrs. Long? Yes. Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Trabuzio?
Yes.
Mr. Palazzo?
Yes, carries. Consider the approval of the reassignment of Jillian Hanson, 6th grade ELA teacher at Giles School, to 5th grade ELA teacher at Giles. Any discussion? I'll ask for a motion to approve the reassignment of Jillian Hanson, 6th grade ELA teacher at Giles, to 5th grade ELA at Giles.
Second.
Maria Frank. Roll call.
Mrs. Long? Yes. Mr. Trabuzio?
Yes.
Mr. Palazzo?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Carries. I'll ask the board to consider the approval of an FMLA leave of absence request from Michael Glassman, art teacher at Giles School. Any discussion on that?
Yeah, I just have a quick question. Will that, the time of leave will be filled with a substitute or an actual teacher in the class?
When Michael Glassman is out?
Yes.
We are searching, we have to post a position for the 20 days.
Okay,
Well, it'll be their long-term sub, but someone who's qualified to be in the classroom.
gotcha.
We'll find someone. It's October.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All right, I'll ask for a motion to approve the FMLA leave of absence request from Michael Glassman, art teacher at Giles School.
Second.
Maria, Chris, a roll call?
Mrs. Long? Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Trabuzio?
Yes.
Mr. Palazzo?
Yes. The motion carries. Board meeting reflection time. Okay, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Right now, the time is 10:42 p.m.
A motion.
Second.
Renzo Frank, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
If there's any opposed, say nay. All right, thank you everybody for your effort, your time. Meeting is now adjourned.